All right, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well today. So December 9th, Regis Prograis takes on Devin the Dream Haney, defending his WBC belt. Last fight, Prograis had a little bit of issues cutting the ring off against Zorilla, closing the distance. We're going to speak about that. I'm going to pull up footage from the previous fight and show my thoughts on what was happening and how he can correct it. We're going to talk about the depths of cutting the ring off because there's a lot of psychology to it as well. It is, in its essence, quite a basic thing to do, but there is some discipline involved. And as I said, the mental pressure that comes with cutting the ring off. But there's a lot of things that you really need to do for it to be effective. So let's get into the video.
He's good, he's slick, he has all this stuff, but I know that like I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna hurt him, I'm gonna beat him, I'm gonna stop him. I've been, and I'm not just being like cocky for nothing, bro. I've been working for this. I've been working for this for months already.
Boxing. All right, shout out to all the subscribers. Thank you very much for tuning in. Peace and love to you. Welcome along anybody new. If you are new, gratitude to you. Let's get into the video, okay? So cutting the ring off. First of all, what is cutting the ring off for those of you that don't know? Essentially, in its basic form, is you're trying to match your opponent's direction, okay? Whichever direction they go in, you want to match it. You don't want to follow them. You want to try to anticipate where they're going, all right? But you want to try to be a step in front of them. So if you see where they're going, step where they're going. That's its essence and simplicity, but there's far more layers to it. Okay, and I'm going to get into that in the video because it is a lost art. It's a dying art. Not that many fighters do it well these days because it's a discipline. Okay, it has to be on the forefront of your mind if that's what you're doing, and you're fighting a fighter like Devin Haney, who we suspect is going to be on the back foot boxing, using his beautiful jab. He's got one of the best jabs in the game, if not the best jab. He's got really good feet, he's very intelligent, and he's going to be hard to pin down, and that's why he probably took the fight against Prograis, let's be honest, because they saw that Zorilla fight. We all saw the struggles Prograis had, and Prograis is a fighter that he kind of likes you right here, right? He can press you a little bit and come forward a little bit, but if you're right in his range, then he's at his best. And the same, if he gets pushed back, he's got that elite upper body head movement, torso movement. He can counter punch a little bit. He tries to get that back hand off, which is probably his best punch. But if you're on the move and you're moving laterally, as we first saw, I mean, that was Zorilla was really making it hard for him, because he was trying to close the distance and he really couldn't do it. And perhaps I know that, look, it was a lot going on for Prograis in that fight, and I've been a massive admirer of Prograis for a long time. I love watching him fight. I love his energy. He's a throwback fighter. He wants to fight everybody, and his energy for this fight is really up there. And that's what's given me a little bit of a second thought, because I picked Haney straight away. I picked Haney straight away. UD on points, outboxing him fairly comfortably, but the interviews I've been watching about Prograis, he's on it. He is on it, and he's not to say that determination is going to change that much, but it sounds like they're going to have a plan. They're going to need to have a plan for a lot of different stuff. But I've been rambling for a little bit. Let's get into the footage.
I'ma stop Devin. I'm stopping Devin, bro. That's it. That I truly know this in my head. I'm gonna stop Devin.
All right, this is the third round. 2 minutes left in the third round. And look, Prograis at times was able to do it very briefly, but the thing about cutting the ring off is it is a discipline. Okay, it's got to be tattooed in your game plan. And if you just I know it was a short week, a few weeks notice for that fight, and they maybe not have known about Zorilla, and I hadn't watched a lot of him, but apparently he doesn't normally fight like that, so that can be off-putting. And in a fight, 5-6 rounds can go by and you can get into the monotony of a fighter like that. There's like snake charming fighters. Zorilla's like a snake charmer with the way he moves his feet and stuff like that, and you can blink your eye and it'll be round 7 or 8 and you're wondering how the hell you got there. But right now, look at this, right? Prograis just kind of following him a little bit, okay? And we're right here, okay, where the goal is really you want to direct your opponent into an area where you're going to be more advantageous, i.e. the corner, okay, or the ropes or wherever, where you can get in range, where you can let your shots go, because Regis is going to want to get physical with Devin Haney, so he's going to want to get close to him. But you can't get too close, because Devin Haney's just going to pop shot him, either with those jabs or that straight right hand, or this is going to be an important punch, I think, is if Regis comes rushing in, Haney's going to meet him with that uppercut, that back right hand uppercut, boom, as he comes in. But he's also, before it gets to that, he's going to obviously shoot those sharp jabs. And Haney was landing some tremendous jabs against Loma. And he's just got a great jab in general. And then he's got a very good back right hand. So all these things are dangerous. But right here, Regis comes in. Now, if you notice where he's standing, right, and look, he's a southpaw, so it's a little more difficult. But you really want to not leave the open real estate for Zorilla open. If you watch this, Prograis going to the right, Zorilla's going to the left, and it just makes it an easy exit. And he's never going to be able to like either get to him or cut the ring off just from simply going in the wrong direction. And now he should have gone towards his left and tried to guide Zorilla back. You want to edge it. If you're trying to, like, imagine if you were like trying to catch some kind of animal, right, a chicken or something like that, and you had it in the corner of the room, you wouldn't come in from the side of the room, because it's just going to run out the side. Do you know what I mean? You come in from the front and try to pace yourself in. It's the same as cutting the ring off. But interestingly enough, though, right after that, when Zorilla kind of doesn't really, you know, move out of the way too much, Prograis right in front of him, okay, and this is where he's at his best, when you're right in front of him, okay, because he's got that elite head movement. All right, he's looking to time you, and he does just that. And actually, I'm going to talk about his head movement, how it can be beneficial, but how it can also be a negative, because I'll show you a clip later where he does it so, where he leans over so much, it prevents him from actually moving, and Zorilla moves out the other way. So it doesn't happen that often, but it's just something to think about. And there's something I want to talk about, his feet as well. But right here, see, he's actually trying to mount his attack. But coming in like that, when you're coming in trying to cut the ring off, or you got to do a lot of head movements, some feints, some foot feints, head feints. This is what I'm talking about. There's a lot to do. And in this moment, he does it a little bit. He's moving his head. He times him, all right? And obviously, straight in, bang. Drops him. Great. That was a great episode, but there wasn't enough of that, I think. Okay, so this is about 30 seconds later in the same round. This is actually quite important. The angle's not great, but there's something subtle that Regis does with his shoulders, which is the direction he's moving in a little bit, that makes Zorilla think twice about going in that direction, and that's what it's all about. So right here, Zorilla's getting backed into the corner, and that's where Prograis wants him, okay? And he's coming in here, but he just moves a slight over to his left, okay? Meaning Zorilla wants to go, he wants to go that way, but if Prograis acting like he's going that way, it could create Zorilla to not go that way, which is what it does. Very subtle, but it's there. And he does move a little bit, but then you got to seize your moment, okay? When there's an opportunity to close the distance, like there was right now, okay? And he's stepping in. Now the gap gets closed, and now you have the advantage, okay? Comes in with the jab, feints the jab, beautiful, and now he's on him. And this is actually excellent defense from Zorilla. Watch this. This is incredible defense. But the point is, Prograis was there. He kind of moved over subtly, like he was going to go in that direction. As I said, it's not a great angle. And then he pounced, and he made his move, because he saw a small opportunity where Zorilla didn't move so far. Okay, look at Zorilla's eyes. Look at his concentration. Look at that. That is elite concentration. And this is why when you have good defensive fighters, they're like that. Look, watch this barrage of punches. Well, he's actually trying to catch him. Beautiful. And see, Regis is a bit reckless, but it's rugged and it's effective. But if he wasn't such a good defensive fighter, he'd got through with those. But he should do that against Haney. Just throw bombs any way you can. Do you know what I mean? Haney's a superb defensive fighter. We'll get onto the clinching in a bit, because you know Haney's going to do that. When that opportunity comes like that, I doubt Haney's going to want to, do all the blocking and count maybe, but like, he probably better off clinching, to be honest. I know a lot of people don't like that. It's part of the game. It is what it is. He's very good at it, and the timing of it. The question is, will Prograis be able to counteract the timing of Haney's clinches? We'll get onto more of that. But episode there started from Regis doing a bit of a better job than he has been in the later rounds. This early part of the fight was better for him. But yeah, he's still banging away, and that is exactly where he wants Haney in this fight. That is exactly what he wants to do, in my opinion. All right, we'll skip to the 7th round, right? I wanted to talk about the jab situation, okay? Because obviously you're going to have the southpaw, Prograis, who really uses like an up jab for the most part. He doesn't really use a jab conventionally, and when you are fighting the southpaw, I would suggest or think that Haney's going to have the advantage because Regis typically has you know, a low arm, like a Philly shell kind of. You know, he fluctuates with it and moves around. It's very interesting style actually, and it very kind of got some herky jerkiness to it. But he likes an up jab, and right here, like two minutes in the 7th round. There's times, a lot of times in the Zorilla fight where he went to the high guard like that, but it's a lot harder to jab from here to get any effectiveness. But if you are up here, you're defending Haney's oncoming jab, right? But I think ultimately Haney will have an advantage with the jab because of the trajectory, because typically Regis will be here, and Haney had a lot of success against Loma with the jab. It was just a good timed, beautiful jab, and Loma loves to have that high guard up too and do those slips and stuff like that. But like, I think Prograis, if he wants to defend that jab, is going to have that high guard and maybe come in and be a bit subtle with it, because when he has that exaggerated head movement, it kind of it doesn't help him going forward, I think. But it'll be interesting to see who can get the upper hand with the jabs, because you know it's always an interesting little battle, but we'll see. So one thing Regis was doing, and he's been doing since I've been watching him, which is many years, is he does I don't know if it's part of his rhythm or part of maybe just trying to blind his opponent briefly, but he just throws these arbitrary jabs out that don't seem to really have that much of an effect, at least not on a fighter that's, you know, moving laterally or going backwards. And he was doing it a lot, and they were just kind of, I don't know why they were being thrown so much, but like I said, he's been doing it for perhaps his rhythm, perhaps there's something to it, like I said, trying to blind his opponent, but he's not using it conventionally. He just kind of stands there and just throws a jab out, and I'm wondering if it's worth not doing that against Haney, because you know, it just doesn't seem to bring you any advantages. And I think if he's going to use the jab, I think he's got to come in and feint the jab, come in with the second one, which he did in this fight. I'll try and find the clip if I can. But he's got to be more purposeful, I think, with his jab, as opposed to just throwing those random ones out. But then again, if it's part of his makeup and if it's part of his rhythm and he does it, then perhaps there's something that I don't know about. See right here, he's got subtler head movement, right, which helps him get his legs off a little bit better. Comes in with a little feint, okay, and then shuffles his feet in to close the distance. Now he's in punching range, and this is exactly what he needs to do to give himself a better chance. That was very good. And you look, he's launching that shot. Good defense from Zorilla, and you know, but that's what Prograis needs to do. A little shorter, stumpier head movement instead of the wide stuff that he does like that. Because once you go so wide, it can shut you out for like a few milliseconds, you know, because you're so far over. I'll show you a clip in a sec. Right, this is still in the 7th. Now this pressure he does here is actually quite good, because he's just on him, all right? He's matching him, and that is the mental pressure. If you're on somebody, see, steps, he's stepping, he's matching him. Zorilla's pop shotting, that's what Haney's going to be doing. Their little pop shot, especially with the right hand. So I wouldn't be surprised if Regis did have his gloves high up a bit more, or he'll probably use his head movement. But like I said, when he moves his head movement against somebody like pop shot and moving out, he's not going to be there to counter him like he just did then. But he's matching him well, and he's still applying that pressure. And even though he's not really landing over the course of a 12-round fight, as I mentioned, that's mental pressure and psychology. Okay, this is in round 8. I'm going to show you a clip where Regis's head movement clearly helps Zorilla with terms of the exit strategy. I'll show you right here. He's backing him into the corner, and he's, you know, right there. He should be moving across, okay, to his left. I know he's a southpaw, but you got to step over because Zorilla's trying to go that way, and that's the corner right there is a good opportunity. But instead of that, he moves his head all the way over this way, and clearly, quite easily, Zorilla just sees that, and he's able to maneuver out of the corner. And that was an opportunity where you could have really pressed him and get him in the corner and let your hands go and do some damage. But it's just little decisions like that. Just keep the head movement tighter and step over and try to cut off the angle where he's going. He's done it a few times, but again, it's the discipline of doing it every single round, every single episode of the fight. If that is how the fight is going to play out against Haney, which we suspect it will, it's an exhausting way to fight. When you're really cutting the ring off and you're applying that pressure, and you're feinting and you're jabbing and you're moving your head and you're stepping in with the foot pressure, the head feints, whatever it is, it's exhausting. And you have to be drilled really. And maybe they're drilling that in camp, probably. But to do it in a fight for 12 rounds against an elite fighter like Haney, I hope he can, to make it a better fight. See, there's got to be a calm sense of poise but urgency. Okay, you have to let your opponent know that you're walking them down. He's a more physical guy. Zorilla could punch a little bit, that could change things. And actually, with Haney, I would like to see him. You might have to take a jab or just to come in and breach the area to get to him. But that becomes an attitude thing. Like, oh, I'm gonna step to you. Which, given his preparation and how he's been speaking, he sounds like he's ready to go. And he had the same energy in the Zepeda fight, and I was like, that is a driven Prograis, and he's ready to go in there. And I was like, I think he might stop Zepeda, and he did, but it was his energy building up to it. He wanted his belt back, and I see the same energy, if not more, because when he's on, he's on. Not that he's off, he's always on, but when he's on, he's really on, and he really trains extremely hard. And that's not going to help him for the skill aspect, but for the determination of just like, okay, I need to just, if I got to take a jab, I'll take a jab. But he's gonna eat one of my shots as well. And not every fighter has that. Regis definitely does. He's going to need to use that, I think. Just apply that pressure and just bite down on your teeth a little bit. Make it physical. Hit him anywhere. You could hit him anywhere. Hit him on the arms, hit him on the legs, well, the top of the legs, the side of the hip, wherever you can hit him. Just hit him. It doesn't matter. Over the court, well, it does obviously if you want to really do some damage, but you know what I mean. If you're accumulation of punches anywhere, just being a bully, and Regis can punch. So, a punch, look, Canelo does it, hitting people on the arm. It's the same thing. It's like, it's the target's there. If you can't hit him on the chin and you can't touch the body, hit him on the arm. If they got a good jab like Haney and he's whacking his arm, he's not going to be as good in the 7th or 8th round, is it? All right, let me pull up this clip from Loma and Haney, which I thought Loma did quite a good job at cutting the ring off in parts. It was obviously, that was a tremendously complicated fight. It was very back and forth. I thought it was a very close fight. I thought either fighter could have won. I scored it a couple of times, and I scored each guy winning. I see why people thought Loma won. He had the more eye-catching rounds, but that's not how you score a fight, really. But I don't think there was a robbery. But nonetheless, there were a couple of things that Loma did well that I think Regis did or could do. So look, when you look at this, right, this little phase here. Now, another thing, there's something called an L step, right? Which Haney is doing here, but an L step will actually help you to cut the ring off. But as a southpaw, it might be a bit more difficult. But if you watch this, Haney does an L. This is called an L step. It just basically helps you shift around and maneuver a little bit quicker or more comfortably. You don't have to pivot or take steps. You take the L step, which covers more ground. Look at this. There, that's an L step, right? And then he hops and he does that kind of thing that Shakur does, where he'll, it's like a boxing move, tucks his belly back just in case he gets out of the way. But if you watch here, right, watch what Loma does here, right? He notices Haney's trying to go in that direction. Okay, see that right there? He's planting his foot. All right, so he's planting his foot down so he can spring and match Haney where he wants to meet him. So it's like whack-a-mole again. He's up in your face and he's just like, I'm here, because you know Haney's looking like he could kind of get out of it. Then Loma takes a step and he's right in front of his face again, and that's the mental pressure. But what my point is, you can take wider steps. If you look at how wide this step was Loma took, right? It's a little wide. I mean, look, Loma's footwork is exceptional, but there are some issues with it sometimes. But taking wider steps, see right there? There's a deliberate wide step so you can get to the further distance so you can cut the ring off. That's cutting the ring off right there. And he might not have capitalized on it, but that is cutting the ring off 101. Okay, my opponent's going there. I'm going to take a wider step over here. Now you're right in front of them. And if they go that way, whack, you can whack them there. You know, if they come this way, whack them there. That's what Tio was doing to Loma in a different manner, you know, because he was trying to get on the outside. But with cutting the ring off here, you can use punches, but you can use wider footwork as well. He's right there, and look, Loma's matching him. But this is actually a good scene here, because if this happens right now, where Haney's getting backed into the corner, he does really well getting out of it. Watch this. He's pouring with the jab, and he just jabs his way out. Loma, to be honest, that's what I'm talking about, where Prograis, those kind of jabs, you need to be eating those jabs. They weren't hard. Loma just backs off, Haney's out the corner. But they weren't purposeful or spiteful jabs at all. And I think though if he's just pumping that jab like that, those are jabs you can live to take. You know what I mean? You might take one and slip under and come in whatever, uppercut or whatever. But again, it's a long process. There's a lot to keep doing. But if you want successes, you've got to do all these things. I think that's, if Prograis is going to win, a lot of people think he's going to win by stoppage. He needs to have, I think, this is my opinion, of course, you know, you're welcome to have your own. In fact, if you do have your own, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section. And if you are enjoying the video, hit the like button. And if you are new, hit the subscribe button. I've got loads of videos coming. I've been off for about a week. I had a minor little cold for a couple of days. It was really annoying, but I'm back and I'm still going with these videos. But nonetheless, I'd love to hear from you.
I feel like, of course, I'm the best fighter at 140. I mean, I'm not going to say nobody else. Of course, I feel like I'm the best fighter at 140. Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's talk about Regis's footwork, because, you know, look, he's flat-footed, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. It's actually very advantageous for him and the way he fights, because it's suited for him, right? He has those feet and it can maneuver his head work. Head movement really well. He can get massive leverage. You can get massive power when your feet are on the ground and you have a good relationship with the ground. That's where he can be effective, because he can skate forward and, you know, still have his feet fairly flat. But when you're dealing with somebody with lateral movement, you have to move your feet a little quicker, like Regis. And one thing that he was doing, which is going to slow you down, is when you step in and you're stepping in heel first, right? If you look at here, I'll show you several clips where it's heel first, and when you're stepping on heels first as opposed to the front part of your foot, it's milliseconds we're talking about here, but it's going to slow you down. And so this is the 9th round now, 2:48 left. There's moments here where Prograis is doing actually good cutting the ring off, but then the heel first I think is affecting his footwork a little bit, but he's getting the right idea. Okay, if you watch this, he's matching Zorilla with the pressure. He's trying to, he's letting him get out a little bit, but there, quick step over. That's all it takes. See right there, that little step? He just stepped over, and just to match him, okay? Keep that pressure, but his feet are still going heel first, and that's what's slowing him down a little bit with the feet. And then Zorilla jabs. But that right there, that should have been a come in with the jab. He's on the ropes. Let your hands go. You got to be more boisterous in a situation like that, I think. So I want to show you something that's quite funny. Well, I found it funny, because I also found it really understandable as to why Regis was having a hard time pinning this guy down, because Zorilla is a tricky customer. Watch this little Michael Jackson moonwalk move he does. he's like, you know, Regis is matching him right here. This is like in the 9th round, 2 minutes left, and he's matching him nicely, stepping over. Okay, this is perfect ring, cutting the ring off. He's doing it really well here, and then he's getting him into, he's guiding him into the position where he wants him to be. Okay, this is, now he's got him. This is where he wants him, right? Now he's got to let his hands go. Right, just as he's doing it, watch this move. Prograis jabs. All right, now he should have come in with the left hand there, and look at that. Look at Zorilla. He's out like. I mean, that's a crazy move. That is a crazy. If the boxing doesn't work out, you can always go to like America's Got Talent or something and do like a Michael Jackson impression. That was ridiculous, and that's why Prograis was having a hard time. One of the many reasons, because he was so disciplined with it, Zorilla, with his defense, alertness, concentration, you know, pop shotting, maneuvering, frustrating, snake charming. That's hard, especially when you're not preparing for that. So I understand why Regis had a flat performance, I really do. And the homecoming and everything like that, you know, it's a difficult situation to be in, to look good against somebody like that. I know he dropped him earlier, but, you know, generally Zorilla came with the game plan, and when you're, you know, moonwalking on one leg, it makes it a lot harder for your opponent. All right, this is in the 12th round. This is like last minute, but this is actually really good, cutting the ring off, and this is where the inconsistency comes in. It's like you got to be on it all the time, and it was like, you know, touch and go with the Prograis. But right here, 45 seconds left in the 12th. He's matching him. Zorilla's just basically borderline running at this point, and Prograis matching him. And it's just frustrating. It's hard to pin somebody down like that. I think Haney, don't know if he'll be doing it that much, but you know, it's hard to set your feet. And when someone's constantly moving with that lateral movement, you know, he constantly has to reset his feet, and to make the attack as well, he's got to be a little bit sharper and a little bit more less. Trying to think of the word. Less obvious. Right? Not to saying he was, but if you're trying to get in there, you got to be sharp with it, and come in and really make your attack. Whereas and actually one thing I thought of that might work against Regis, or might work for him, I don't know, but like, if you are being so amped up and aggressive and trying too hard, that can lead to, you know, your opponents reading you a little bit more, because your aggression in your eyes, and you know, you have the intent, but you got to disguise that intent with just some sharp, you know what I mean? All right, I feel like I've been rambling for far too long. This is a really long video. I appreciate anybody that stayed this long. Much respect to you. Thank you very much. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. I've got a lot of videos coming, and you know, I'm looking forward to making them, because you know, at the end of this year we're going to end with an absolute bang. And basically what I'm going to take from this, and just to summarize what we went over, this is just, again, my opinions. I'd love to hear from you about what you think about this fight, who's going to win it, and you know, do you have any other extra points on cutting the ring off that I didn't, closing the distance, which are different, but you know, essentially you're just trying to get to your opponent. But I think Regis has to be more disciplined with it, more consistently, you know, which is not easy, you know, especially when he hasn't been fighting like that. I think he has to maybe be aggressive really when he sees that moment, to really capture that moment where Haney's in there. He might have to eat a jab or two to get in there, feint the jab, come in with the back one and the backhand. He's got to be a bit creative. It's exhausting, you know, he's got a lot to do, I think, to be successful. I'm not saying he can't. I would love to see Regis win, I really would. Not that I have anything against Haney at all. I'm not really in it like that. But just from watching Regis for a long time, but I don't think he will win. I'm a very unbiased channel, so you know, I think Haney's going to outbox him. I do. I think he's going to be too, like, and look, he's got a big frame on him now too. Coming off a great win against Lomachenko, whether you think he won or not, that was a good performance. And as a southpaw as well, you know, tricky southpaw, totally different style, obviously, but still, can't have been the worst preparation for him. And at the end of the day, it's going to be very tough to beat Devin Haney and get him back into the corner and bully him. And I just don't see it. I'm not saying it's not possible. I think it's possible, and it might happen. But will it? Probably not. My money's on Devin Haney for probably a 8-4, something like that. And maybe early on Regis might have a bit of opportunity, but we'll see. I hope we have a good fight. May the best man win. That's all we can ask for. I am out of here. Peace and love. Boxing on the edge. Take care.
The face at 140. That's my goal, to be the face at 140. You could be at 35. You could be at 47. But at 140, it's Regis Prograis. That's my division. That's what I want to do.